Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we are diving deep into how you can create those incredible AI-powered historical documentaries. We're talking about the real professional pipeline, the one that takes you from those frustrating, kind of clumsy results to something that looks and feels truly cinematic.
Just take a look at this. Imagine watching a documentary that looks this good. Traditionally, this kind of quality, that would cost thousands upon thousands of dollars, a whole production team. But what if I told you that what you're seeing right now was made by just one person? Yep, just one person using only 3 AI tools. Pretty wild, right?
So that immediately brings up the big question, doesn't it? How on earth do you dodge all those common pitfalls? You know the ones, the things that make most AI-generated content just look, well, kind of amateurish.
All right, let's just get right into it. Let's talk about the big problems, the elephant in the room. These are the core challenges that absolutely drive creators nuts. We're talking about the 2 biggest deal breakers here: getting the history wrong and just glaring, obvious visual mistakes.
So these are the real frustrations, right? You've got AIs just making up history. We call them hallucinations. Then there are the clunky, disjointed workflows that just don't make sense. But honestly, the most jarring issue of all is character inconsistency. When your main character looks like a completely different person from one scene to the next, it instantly breaks that immersion and tanks your credibility.
But here's the good news. There is a solution, and we're going to walk through it right now. We're talking about a modern, professional workflow that's built from the ground up to solve these exact problems. The goal? To create something that's not only visually consistent, but also historically accurate. And this chart, it shows the shift perfectly. We're basically moving away from that old frustrating workflow, disjointed tools that give you amateur results, and we're moving towards a new integrated pipeline. This one uses what's called multimodal AI, which is just a fancy way of saying a single system that can handle text, images, and video all together. The new way prioritizes rock-solid, fact-check scripts and uses character references to get you that professional cinematic look we're all after.
So where do we start? It all begins with the script. The entire foundation of a credible documentary, the absolute bedrock, is a solid, fact-checked script. Seriously, this part is completely non-negotiable.
And the process for getting that script is simple, but oh man, is it powerful. It's just 3 steps. First, you find a successful script and reverse engineer it to make a template. Second, you draft your new story. And third, and this is the most crucial step, you use an AI like Claude, which is really well known for being accurate, to go through and fact-check every single detail. No shortcuts here. And look, even though we're using all this fancy AI, we can't forget the basics of what makes a story work for us humans, right? Your script has to follow that classic 3-act structure. You need a beginning, a middle, and an end. That's how you build tension, create stakes, and really connect with your audience emotionally. Okay, so our script is accurate, it's locked in. What's next? Well, now we move on to the voice. And this is absolutely essential if you want to get that premium, authoritative documentary feel. And please, whatever you do, do not underestimate the power of great audio. A premium, really well-delivered voiceover can account for up to 40% of how good people think your video is. Think about that. Almost half of its success comes down to the voice. It's that important.
So if you're using a tool like, say, ElevenLabs for your voiceover, here's a little pro tip for you. Set the style exaggeration somewhere between 10 and 20%. That seems to be the sweet spot. It gives you that dramatic documentary narration without making it sound all robotic and fake. Okay, now for the part that honestly changes the entire game. This is the big one. This is the secret that solves the single most frustrating visual problem out there. Let's talk about how you can finally get visual consistency across your entire documentary. The secret actually starts with how you write your prompts. You can't just throw words at it. You need what we call a cinematic prompt architecture. Basically, it's a structured way of telling the AI not just what to create, but how to film it. You're covering everything: the subject, their action, the lighting, the camera angles, the whole mood of the shot. And just as important is telling the AI what you don't want to see. This is where negative prompts come in. You can tell it to avoid things like random text, logos, or that ugly motion blur. It's like cleaning up your visuals before they're even made. You're getting rid of those common AI glitches before they even have a chance to show up. But even if you have the most perfect prompts in the world, we still run right back into that main challenge. The one thing that has plagued AI videos since day one: making sure your main character looks exactly the same in every single shot.
But what if I told you the solution to this massive, frustrating problem is surprisingly simple? In fact, it all comes down to a single number: 3.
And here it is. This is the secret weapon. Modern AI video generators now let you upload reference images of your character, usually up to 3 of them. By doing this, you're giving the AI a crystal-clear visual anchor. It's the key to locking in their appearance and finally getting that perfect consistency from scene to scene. I'm telling you, this feature is an absolute game changer.
So, when you put all these steps together, a super accurate script, a premium voice, and truly consistent visuals, what you get is a professional pipeline. This is the workflow. This is what separates the amateur AI videos from those polished, high-quality documentaries.
So what's the big takeaway here? It's that professional quality isn't magic. It comes from a disciplined approach. It's all about combining the raw power of AI with a smart strategy. Fact-check scripts, premium audio, those cinematic prompts we talked about, and mastering visual consistency with reference images. And then, for that final touch, layering in ambient audio and sound effects to really make your scenes feel real.
What this whole process does is it truly democratizes high-end storytelling. It literally puts the power of an entire production studio right at your fingertips. So really, the only question left to ask is, what important story are you going to be the first to tell?